Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio. It's Monday morning. I look down here at your notes and I see, oh, yeah, good idea. Let's not talk about what happened yesterday. How was your weekend? You're not looking forward to the cold, are you?
Let's put it this way. Tomorrow
the first
needs
freeze.
to be gone and out of here.
Ned is going to come in here. He'll have to come in here by the time I get in here, an hour or two early, and I'll just have to set up about 4 space heaters around him in a circle.
And they will be on, I promise you.
We have to get a dolly because he's just frozen solid. And despite his thin look, he actually does weigh some. So you got to pee. I need some help. So I'll have to dolly him in here, get the heaters going. It's a process we have to deal with every day.
Tell you though, I looked ahead, and I think by the weekend it's back up to 80 again, something like that.
Are you kidding me? What the hell is going on? Well, this is great. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, let's get to it. I know it's not something you want to talk about, but let's get to it.
You know what's funny? Everyone always says, man, it'd be so cool. You love the Chiefs and you get to be affiliate and all that. And I'm like, yeah, it's great when we win. But I guarantee you, man, you're not going to be like, oh, man, it's so great when your favorite team in the world, and it's your job to go back into work the next day and talk about it when they lose.
Well, let me mollify that a little bit because, quite frankly, I thought the Chiefs played very well, especially on defense. They played well enough to win most games, but they're not playing most teams here. They're playing the Buffalo Bills, and they are very, very good. I thought the Chiefs' defense was almost to the point of being outstanding. In fact, they're very aggressive, and they hit very hard, and that impressed the daylights out of me. But in the long run, they may have been too aggressive. And what do I mean by that? How can you be too aggressive? Well, the front line, the front four, and some of the linebackers did a lot of, or tried to anyway, put a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. So they're in there, they're showing their quickness. Kansas City is very quick on defense, very quick and very hard hitting. Well, that over pursuit may have cost them. Devin Singletary, the running back, got the ball on a lot of a lot of draw plays and a lot of play actions. Instead of holding it for a pass, Allen would give to Singletary. He had 85 yards rushing, and Buffalo had 125 yards rushing as a team. Well, a lot of that was because the defense was over-pursuing. They were trying to go for Josh Allen, put pressure on him, didn't have the ball. Instead, it's Singletary, and he gashed that backfield for a lot of yardage, that defensive backfield. 85 yards is a lot. The Chiefs, on the contrary, had 64 total yards, team rushing. They were concentrating much more on passing, and Buffalo was able to shake up Patrick Mahomes quite a bit, got him out of his rhythm, got him running to the side. You know, Mike, you've seen it on a number of occasions, and Mahomes is so very good at doing this, running to the side and then ditching that little pass. Well, that can be defended, and I think maybe the Buffalo Bills may have come up with a defense. They flush him out to the side, and he dumps that little pass in the end zone. What happened yesterday? Got picked. Well, those things come back to haunt you after a while. Kansas City is going to have to come up with a new offensive scheme, and Patrick Mahomes is the one to do it, too. He's a really good quarterback. I think he threw for 338 yards yesterday, but he also threw a couple of key interceptions, one in the end zone and one to end the ball game. And these were interceptions that were brought about by pressures from the other team, not just poor passing. He's not a poor passer. He's a great passer. I thought Kansas City played very well. They're going to have to regain their mojo because the San Francisco 49ers, who are nowhere near what the Buffalo Bills are playing at home, and that'll be tough.
It will be, and they definitely need to right the ship. Okay. I know we had some problems as far as injuries in our defensive backfield, and the first thing that was very evident to me was that the D-backs are playing real soft coverage, that was honestly looking back now after not being there, because I'm like, why are they doing this? Diggs is going to dig, it's just going to be slants and checkdowns, and that's what they were doing. And then now, in retrospect, I think that was probably the smart call because you had a bunch of rookies playing that position and you needed the space so that they could react to what was happening. So in regards, that was the only play they could do. And I agree with what you said. They were hungry, but that's what you have to do with Josh Allen. And you know what? The other thing is that offensive pass interference call on Kelsey was complete garbage. And if you take that away, we got 7 points. Ball game's tied.
There is a You're absolutely right. It was offensive pass interference.
Horrible
what
call.
It was a pick. And they
touched
that
him.
Happens virtually every game.
Literally, as he walked by him, he put his hand out.
Again, it happens every game. Only sometimes they call. They call what they see, and they don't always see that pick play that's coming up.
I'll tell you, there was a lot of stuff they didn't see yesterday, too.
Yeah. But that's going to be the case in every game. Stephon Diggs, outstanding receiver.
Oh, man.
This kid was a good player at Maryland in the Big Ten, but Maryland's awful in the Big Ten. And Stephon Diggs was nothing short of outstanding. They freed him twice on that fly pattern. All they did was loft it. Yep. All Josh Allen had to do was loft that pass over the head. Perfect timing. They were key players right there. Key plays that scored for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's a good team. They're well-rounded. They have a lot going for them. Their defense also played very well. I didn't think as well as the Chiefs, but they played well. Interesting to see what happens from here on in. Buffalo's not unbeatable. They can be had by somebody. Where does it end at the end of the season?
Yeah.
And what's going to happen when the playoffs come around? That's, I think, the key.
We got 6 weeks. The sucky thing is that could be the difference between home field advantage and being on the road. If we get a tie at the end of the season with the Bills or anybody else, they own the tiebreaker because they beat us in the regular season. So there's a lot of things that could happen.
Mike, the same thing happened last year, and it didn't work.
I know. but it's just to be that close and to see what you see there. And just, God, why do we have to talk about it, Ned? So, baseball playoffs been very interesting so far after first week of play, I'd say.
And we talked about it yesterday on Ned Talk. This, Philadelphia is my hometown boyhood team from 50, 60, 70 years ago. Always rooted for them, and it's nice to see them win. But did they belong there? And the answer is no, in my opinion, and neither did the San Diego Padres. They were both wild card teams, and here they are playing for the championship. Mike, this defies any level of logic because you're taking away from teams that really were big winners during the season. The Dodgers, 111 wins. Atlanta Braves, 101 wins. And you have lesser teams, and the teams are playing all because of the new formula that they have in there with extra wild card teams. Not in favor of it, and that's how it's going to turn out in the National League. A couple of wild card teams playing for a berth in the World Series, the World Championship, Philadelphia, San Diego, and they begin tomorrow night at Petco Field in San Diego. San Diego had the better record than Philadelphia. And it's great for us, hometown Phillies fans, and it really has a bit of a Missouri State connection to it because the Philadelphia Phillies catcher J.T. Realmuto, his dad, Dave Realmuto, played for the Bears back in the late 70s, early 80s. Not very long nor very well, but he was a former maroon and white student. So from that aspect of things, I guess there's a level of identification. American League, the Houston Astros are there, but who do they play? I don't know yet. The Cleveland Indians had to beat the Yankees last night to get in there, and I called them Indians again, didn't I? The Cleveland Guardians.
$20.
Boy, that kitty is mounting very quickly.
We got a lot of money in this jar. I don't know what we're going to do with it.
Well, the Yankees won 4-2 to even their series at 2 games apiece, and they'll break that tie today at Yankee Stadium in New York. I suspect the Yankees will probably win, but you don't know. It's baseball. Anyway, the Houston Astros are awaiting in Houston, and that series will begin on Wednesday. These are all best of 7. It's a 2-3-2 format. 2 home games, 3. The next team, the secondary team, gets the middle 3 games if necessary, and then back to the home field again for the final 2. Best of 7, and the winners go on to the World Series, which begins on October 28th, and that is way, way too long. And it's going to be cold.
Considering I'm looking at the weather going, it's in the mid-40s right now.
San Diego,
oh, my God, those guys are going to die.
San Diego will be all right, and Houston will be all right because they play indoors.
Yeah.
But Philadelphia and New York, oh
Phillies.
My.
Well, they're kind of used to it being on that part of the country, so I'm sure they're used to it. But most ball players don't like it, even though they're used to it. All right, so a pretty big NASCAR race in Las Vegas yesterday, wasn't there?
This was one of the big ones because it is part of the playoff series, and Joey Logano got the win in a dandy come-from-behind finish. With 5 laps to go, he was behind. He took the lead with about 3 to go and held on to win it. And what made it, I think, even more, perhaps appealing, if you want to call it that, was a big fight at the end of the game. Now, it was not throwing haymakers or anything like that. It was pushing and shoving and yelling at each other. Kyle Larson, who was last year's champion, and Bubba Wallace, they went after each other at the end when one caused the other to wreck and so forth and so on. But you see that. That's part of the temperament of it. Anyway, it's Joey Logano who becomes the first of the final 4 drivers. Now, the way they work it in NASCAR in the playoffs, you eliminate the top 16 over a course of about 8 races. And they're down now to picking the final 4 who will race for that. Everybody races, but for the final 4 championship, it'll be the points winner. And Logano is the first of the final 4 drivers. The other 3 will be decided next week in Miami, and the championship is in Phoenix in early November. So they're right down now to the championship level in NASCAR.
It's always exciting, and speaking of exciting, thank God we don't talk about that game yesterday in Kansas City. We can talk about what else happened across the league. I will tell you that one good thing that happened to me yesterday, one good thing is that I, my friend, am still undefeated in my fantasy league. 6-0, and I played the other undefeated person in our league and whipped the crap out of her yesterday. So, hey.
Would you like to hear the total opposite? I'm 0-6.
Are you serious? Oh, Ned. That's because Ned doesn't know how to make his picks. If they went back to a paper system of fantasy football, Ned would crush everybody. But unfortunately, since it has to do with your cell phone, he's out.
Lost. I'm lost. He gone. There were some big games in college football, though, over the weekend. The Tennessee-Alabama game was absolutely as dandy as you could
probably best game of the year so far, in my opinion.
I think so. Tennessee's, it's going to cost them some money, like $100,000 for rushing the field. Can't do that in the Southeastern Conference nor other conferences.
Worth every penny, my friend.
Oh, it was. And then they tore down the goalposts, so the university is asking the fans to pay for the new goalpost, which I'm sure they will. It was Tennessee 52, Alabama 49, and that's regulation score, folks. That was not overtime. I had to go to a commitment on Saturday night, so when I turned it off, there were 15 seconds left in the game.
Oh, I can't believe you had to leave at that point.
I had no choice.
No.
I had no choice.
You got to call somebody, say you're going to have to wait, man.
Well, it was Alabama and Tennessee were tied with 15 seconds to go, and Alabama had the ball in Tennessee territory going for a field goal. Can't do it. I can't see. I can't wait. Had to go, drive to my destination, turn it on, and Tennessee wins? How the hell did this happen? Well, Alabama missed the field goal. In a period of about 10 seconds. Tennessee moves the ball into field goal territory and kicks a winning field goal. It was over. How can that happen?
It did, and it's funny because that's essentially the way the league's going in the NFL too. You see games that go. I mean, yesterday's game was with the Chiefs and Bills was very, very close to that type of play, and it was very, very good. There were some great college games that day, but really there was a lot of blowouts. But that Tennessee-Alabama game, seriously.
Crimson Tide, and this is most un-Alabama-like, committed 17 penalties. 17 penalties, and that was really, really very costly to that team. Okay, so where's Tennessee? Well, they're the Southeastern Conference East Division. Wait a minute. Isn't Georgia in the East Division? They are, and Tennessee plays them on November 5th. And then November 12th, Tennessee plays Mizzou in Knoxville. Anyway, that's the way it works. It's really a terrific system of football, and these are great teams. Utah knocking off Southern Cal in Salt Lake City. Arkansas just down the road in Provo from Salt Lake City. Provo's only about 40 miles away. They walloped Brigham Young. That's a nice win for the Razorbacks, 52-35. And I think one of the big surprises, there are several in football, Syracuse has come from the doldrums. They used to be a national power, but they've been 20 years without ever building anybody. They are back in the hunt in the ACC, and the Fighting Illini. Here's Illinois, which has been a doormat in the Big Ten Conference. they're rising up and becoming something of a power now. So this is developing into a very interesting season, and what we're seeing, Mike, is a change in the guard now, the lead guard. Here's Alabama showing some vulnerability. Oklahoma, although they did win. Oklahoma.
I was going to say, that was what I was going to bring up. KU looking like dogs this year going into Oklahoma and getting
Oklahoma won.
I know, that's what I mean. I was thinking KU was going to, after what K-State did to them, I figured they were just going to destroy them.
52-42.
Yeah.
Kansas put 42 points on the board against the Sooners. But Oklahoma's down, Southern Cal down. Hey, times are changing, folks, and we're seeing the new blood coming into all of college football.
You're right on the money, Ned. You have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.